So I'm excited to go out there.
Will you stay the whole time, or you just?
Good afternoon, Rip City. Welcome in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhart here with you, getting you ready for the Trailblazers taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota. A quick 2-game road trip that will see them taking on Minnesota tonight and then going down to Utah to take on the Jazz before All-Star Weekend. Should be a fun little one here tonight. Shacker starting us off rocking Prince. I was going to make, I was like, is that like a halftime, like NFL Super Bowl halftime reference? Because Purple Rain at halftime, like probably one of the greatest halftime performances of all time. And I was like, no, Minnesota. Prince. They got the special Prince jerseys in the Prince court every now and then, which is awesome. An absolute guitar legend, music wizard, as it were. And hopefully the Blazers can continue their magic spell of games. They've won 3 in a row, including an impressive victory over the Philadelphia 76ers just 2 nights ago, 135-118, where they just went through, and especially in that second half, flexed on on Philly a little bit. Yeah, they didn't have Joel Embiid and Paul George. I get that, but they took care of business, and I'm glad they did. But before we get to that, let's get to our intro pleasantries. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhart. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on the text line, 88528. Send us all your questions, your comments about this game. And, of course, youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio and join the chat there, where we're all getting already the dog catcher. Prince and basketball makes me think of Charlie Murphy's great storytelling on the Chappelle Show. You are correct, my friend. You are absolutely correct. Also, Minnesota, Prince just makes me want to go listen to Purple Rain in that halftime performance. It doesn't have to be the live one, but Purple Rain in and of itself, just like a perfect song. Prince was awesome. Again, he wasn't the only one that's been around who's been awesome, though, because the Blazers were awesome 2 nights ago inside Moda Center when they took it to the 76ers. And Philly came out early. It was 31-29 after the first quarter. It was 35-34 in favor of Portland at the second quarter. So you're going into their third quarter, second half of action, right? You're going, okay, we got ourselves a ball game. It's a 1-point game. What needs to happen? Can the Blazers put it together? Denny Avdia's back, and you got Scoot. The lineup's good. Well, in that third quarter, it was all Blazers all the time, as the Blazers outscored Philadelphia 49-22 in the third quarter alone. The 27-point differential was the biggest differential for the Blazers in any quarter this season. The 49 points was also the highest scoring single quarter of the season for your Portland Trailblazers. At that point, it was over. The Blazers called off their dogs. I mean, anytime you look at a box score and you see that Javonte Cook and Young Hansen each got 5+ minutes of action, you know what kind of game it was. It was a dominating second half from Portland that won them the game. Looking at the stats, it was 46-46 points in the paint. A big difference in this one, and we talked about it in the pregame show, was going to be offensive rebounding. I wanted Donovan Clingan to get out there, have a good game, especially with the question marks of Joel Embiid going into the game. Well, they did just that. They rebounded the ball incredibly well. They had 51 total rebounds to just 33 for Philadelphia, and 20 of those were on the offensive glass. That ended up leading to 30 second chance points. They ended up beating Philadelphia 30-16 in that category. Portland did have 18 turnovers, but they still had more points off turnovers than Philadelphia did. It was 28-26 in favor of Portland. So that one helped wash out just a little bit. But that second chance point was a huge, huge difference in this game. Biggest lead for Portland was 31. Biggest lead for Philadelphia was 10. Now, taking a look at the individual box scores, starting on the Philadelphia side of things, Kelly Oubre Jr., he had 19 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Trendon Watford, he got a pretty good ovation. Blazer fans still love him for his short time here in Portland. He had 12 points, also 3 assists and 2 rebounds. 11 points from old man, big man, Andre Drummond. And I don't mean old man like he is just super old. I mean old man like vet NBA center who knows exactly what he's doing. He still has it when you need him to go get it. 5 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 2 from deep. Again, 11 points, 7 boards, 11 points from VJ Edgecombe. Tyrese Maxey had 30 points. Justin Edwards had 12, and Marjan Bochkamp had 10 off of the 76er bench. On the Trailblazers side of things, Toumani Camara, easily his best offensive game of his career. 30 points, a career high. He was 8 of 10 from beyond the arc. Those 8 threes, a career high. He was 10 of 12 from the floor overall. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. I thought his game was absolutely phenomenal. And even though Tyrese Maxey scored 30 points, I argue that Toumani Camara's defense was still pretty darn good on Maxey most of the night. Sometimes Maxey was just, you're going to hit tough shots, but he did go 10 of 21 from the floor. Keep in mind that Toumani wasn't guarding him every single possession, just a lot of them. And he hit a few over 2, but 2's defense was still right there. It was like, okay, this is going to be a tough shot. And no, you made a tough shot. Awesome. Glad you could go make that tough shot. Also, Jeremy Grant, 15 points. Donovan Clingan, 15 points. 13 points from Drew Holiday. Denny Avdia in his return, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 12 points from Scoot Henderson off of the Trailblazers bench. Pete Krejci had just 5 points. Missed a few open shots, but I think you take the performance all the way around. It's pretty good. You kind of like what's going on. I like that. I like that a lot. I like when the team can come out, flex on people, and just sail to an easy victory. Absolutely sail to an easy victory. That's what they did in this one. Took care of business, flexed on him a little bit. I like the fact that Toumani Camara was so efficient with his game. I love the fact that Denny Avdia comes in after missing a handful of games and does not skip a beat. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Had they not subbed out all their starters in that fourth quarter, he was well on his way to another triple-double. He got that near triple-double in just 26 minutes of action. And another case and argument for how efficient this game was, not a single starter had to play more than 30 minutes. And they won. Now, we can look at that sometimes, and it's the blowout loss. And you're like, yeah, no one played more than 30 minutes because they were down by 25 points the whole time. Not so much here. It was because they were efficient, and especially in that third quarter, got out to that massive lead. And Toumani Camara playing the game that he had, really, what I loved about it and his efficiency in doing it is the fact that when you get Scoot back and you get Denny back and you have Drew Holiday, and now you have 3 healthy guys who can run the offense. Not 3 healthy point guards, because Denny's still not a true point guard, but he is a true point guard in the sense of running the offense. So when you got your 3 heads of the monster, so to speak, ready to go, it gets the ball out of Shaedon Sharpe's hands. He didn't play in that game dealing with calf soreness. That was listed today as a calf strain. He won't play tonight. But it gets the ball out of Shai's hand, and it gets the ball out of Toumani Camara's hands. So in that game against Philly, you didn't see Toumani Camara putting the ball on the ground or trying to dribble past his defender or trying to create for himself. All those shots were coming within the flow of the offense. Pull-up threes in transition, finding him out on the wing, and a little pump fake and a shot. There was very little of putting the ball on the floor and having to create. And because he wasn't expending the energy in that moment in time and doing those things, it led to an efficient game because, again, he wasn't trying. And then defensively got to put a lot of effort on that end because he wasn't wasting so much energy on the offensive side of the ball. Those are the things that excite me moving forward. And when Shaedon Sharpe gets healthy, I think he can be the same too, because one of his weaknesses has been ball in his hand, putting the ball on the floor and trying to create for himself. But when you get Denny Avdia and you get Scoot Henderson and then you get Drew Holiday and you have 3 guys that can run the offense and lead the things the way they need to, you don't have to put the ball in Toumani Camara's hands. That's a big victory for the offense. And that's not even being disrespectful to Toumani. It's just not his strength, is putting the ball on the floor and creating for himself. And so when you take that weakness, take it away from him and just let him focus on the things he does well, I think that's why you get games like that where he drops a career high 30 points. Taking a look at the text line, says one of our texters says, "Hi, CB, what a third quarter the other night. Lots of smiles going around. Denny had the no-look pass with a big smile on his face. Afterwards, Donovan was smiling. Smiles all around. gives me a warm feeling. We are a scary team when we play like that. And yeah, I would agree. I think they can win a lot of ball games when they play like that, especially with this easier schedule that they have down the stretch. And to your point, I had been tweeting about this, but one of the things I like most about Scoot Henderson right now, and it's kind of been this way the entire time he's been here, watch him when he plays. He has bigger reactions for his assists than he does his buckets. And I love that because that is a guy who just likes getting his teammates involved. And when he can get that part of the game flowing, it definitely makes him enjoy the game. And I love that that's where he gets his joy is getting other people involved. You throw a lob pass, and next thing you know, he's just, letting out a Scoot Henderson roar. It wasn't even a Scoot Henderson dunk. It was a Scoot Henderson pass. Someone else did the dunk, but Scoot Henderson just lets out that roar of joy. And I love to see that from him. It's the type of playmaking that I really like. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Game Day. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner, hear from head coach Tiago Splitter following that game. We're also going to head to the locker room, hear from a couple players after that game, because, again, especially Toumani Camara, people will put the mic in front of you and ask you how you feel when you have a career night like that. All that and more coming up here on your home of the Blazers, River City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now to head to the Coach's Corner. Let's hear what Tiago Splitter had to say following that victory over the 76ers.
I think we took care of the ball. Only 2 turnovers that quarter. Our defense was on point. I think between Toumani, Jeremy, DC, Rob, Drew. I think it was a great defensive quarter out there. Of course, Toumani made 8 threes, career high, 30 points. So it helps when you make a lot of shots and you don't turn over the ball and give them layups. So that was the key there. 49-22 in a third.
Easier is life for this team when Denny suits up and plays?
I mean, Denny, I didn't expect him to be this aggressive after being for a while out. I thought that he was good. He was aggressive. He was, moving on defense, rebounding. So happy with just the shape that he came back and the mind of attacking the rim again and being aggressive out there.
What does he do for the offensive movement though and the energy, do you think?
I think again we had a fast team in the court with Danny, Drew kicking out, Scoot, So the speed just helped us to get to our spots, and they had to shrink. And of course, we made a shot. So, but Danny just brings that energy once he gets the ball. He hits the turbo, and they had to shrink. If not, it's a layup or an open 3. So it was good to see that group playing. That was kind of like the type of basketball that we envisioned from the beginning of the season, to be honest.
Kind of alluded to it, but I think this is the first game where you had Denny and Drew and Scoot and Rob all together. So is that the style of play? You kind of mentioned it, that you want this team to play when everyone is ready to go and available.
Yeah, I think all of them can push. Whoever gets it or DC grabs the rebound and pass the ball, they can push and be aggressive and attack the paint. So it was good to see, that aggressiveness, getting to the paint and spraying the ball out, being, stay connected on offense and pass the ball to each other. We got 35 assists. So I think it was one of the best games we had, just sharing the ball and looking for shots.
What did you see out of Toumani beyond just his hot shooting?
Sorry, say that again?
What did you see out of Toumani beyond just his hot shooting?
I mean, we know he's a good shooter. Of course, you go through some slumps, and I think tonight he was feeling good. He was not thinking too much, and not we don't like when he jabs and shoots it. Just go there and let it fly. Even though tonight I think he made a couple of those where he jabbed and shot the ball, but just a great night for him, and defensively and offensively.
What do you think of how Scoot played tonight?
I think he was solid. Of course, he was also maybe he didn't have the same touches, but he was pushing the ball and got a couple of free throws there. Was aggressive, smart, passing the ball around, finding teammates. I think he was good.
And there you hear from head coach Tiago Splitter. And of course, that last question was about Scoot Henderson. But right before that, he was talking about Toumani Camara, and he's kind of the same things I said about his offensive game. And that was the fact, he wasn't jab stepping as much. He wasn't trying to create for himself. He's just taking what he had, and it led to a great game from him. And so hopefully they can replicate that moving forward. You need Scoot Henderson, you need Denny, and you need Drew. You need those guys to run the offense and set them up and lead to those high production games. Because it wasn't just the production, it was just the fact at how efficient he was with it. And again, when you go out there, you drop a career high 8 points and a career high 30 points and career high 8 made 3-pointers. The media wants to talk to you. So let's hear from Toumani Camara as well.
Toumani, you had 8 threes tonight. You're now one of 12 players in franchise history with 8 or more threes in a game. Just how big did the basket look to you tonight?
It felt great. A lot of great looks too. A lot of open shots. My teammates found good ways to find me. And yeah, just felt pretty big today for sure.
What was it? It feels like this is one of the first games where you guys had most of your players available. So Denny and Scoot and Rob and Drew. Is what we saw in the second half maybe what you guys would like to become when everyone is available and healthy?
Yeah, I think the third quarter, even though Philly came out a little bit flat, I feel like that's the energy and intensity that we need to approach every game, from the jump. And I think when we do that, we're a really hard team to beat, especially with, like you said, with all these players available. It gives us a lot of chance to beat anybody for every night. So.
How much easier does Danny make everything for you guys when he's out there?
I mean, a lot. He's an all-star for a reason. He strings the floor a lot. A lot of people just worry about his drives, how aggressive it could be. So it opens up a lot of things for other players. And then he's very unselfish. My fault. I'm very unselfish. Let me say that again. He's very unselfish, and he's really looking to pass the ball a lot. So I think it brings a lot to the team. I mean, nothing new.
Are you going to wear a headband now every single game after you shot like that?
I think I have to, especially my teammates keep on talking about it. So I think I'm gonna have to.
What was the inspiration for the new look?
It's not a new look. It's my old look. Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to grow my hair all year. They already did, but don't worry. I was trying to grow my hair for the whole year. Kind of wanted to have a restart, a new fresh start, grow the sides. But yeah, it's not really a new look. I feel like I'm back to myself.
You keep how you roll today, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys have won 3 straight. You're going on the road now. You finished up before the All-Star break with back-to-back games. Kind of, particularly after kind of rough start to the homestand, I would say, and a rough road trip. Kind of, how do you feel like you guys are playing right now? And is there any value to maybe getting some momentum going into the All-Star break?
For sure. I feel like if we can finish this stretch with five wins in a row and going into the All-Star break and then coming back, I feel like it's the best way we can finish this month and finish the first part of the season. I think that's the goal. Everybody's locked in. Everybody seems pretty connected and happy and having fun out there. So I think we're on the right path.
When did you feel like you were feeling it today? Was it warm-ups or pregame routine or just during the game, or when did you feel it?
It's funny because I don't know. I can't really tell you that. It's more about rhythm, taking the right shots, taking the right options, moving the ball, defensively get stops. I feel like it takes a whole team effort, A lot of my shots, it was catch and shoot. So my teammates was able to find me. So it's all about how the game goes, and it just happens to be my night tonight.
And there you hear from the man, Toumani Camara. And yeah, the headband has to come back. That's just got to be a thing now. Can't take it off. Braids and headbands. I don't know. I didn't spend as much outs, and all I know is if you had a good game in baseball, you're like, oh, well, wearing these outs. And all I know is if you had a good game in baseball, you're like, oh, well, wearing these socks next game. Then your mom starts yelling at you. You're like, why does your gym bag smell so bad? Yeah, because I haven't washed these socks in 2 weeks, Mom. I'm on a hitting streak. Can't wreck it. The only reason I'm on a hitting streak is because of my socks. And before you say, Burkhart, that's gross, just let you know, my mom never had to deal with stinky socks because I wasn't good enough to go on 2-week-long hit streaks. So we're okay there. And in high school, 2 weeks is only like 4 games. Shows you where I'm standing on the hit streaks, okay? But you get the point, the superstitions of baseball. That's why every single person they get in the batter's box, like their routine is the exact same. It's the superstition. My baseball coach was the type who his day would be ruined if he showed up to work and someone had taken his parking spot because it threw off his routine. Well, maybe these guys could be a little baseball-esque in keeping with their routines. Keep the headband, keep the hair nice and tight, and just maybe it was the cornrows, the headband. It led for air efficiency. He was very aerodynamic. I love it. I just love Toumani having a great game. So we've had bad ones. We've seen the offers, the goose eggs. So for him to go out there and have a super efficient game like that, be a big reason they were able to get that victory and do so in dominating fashion. I'm a big fan. I want to see more of it. He doesn't have to be the number one scorer every night, but when he can have nights like that, it's big. And then you can start to rely upon him more when you get a full, healthy team. And, okay, you're going to consistently start getting, like, those 16-point performances. Like, those are what I want from him. 16 points, 5, 6 rebounds, throwing a couple assists, steals, blocks, defense on point. And when you are playing the way he was on the offensive side of the ball, where you didn't have to use a lot of energy by putting the ball on the floor and trying to create your own shot, it then allows for him to be very, very locked in on the defensive end. And you can look at Tyrese Maxey dropping 30 all you want. I still think that was a very, very good defensive game from Tumani Kamara. Well, some of the shots that Maxey hit, you're just like, oh my gosh, like how did he hit that? He had one driving through the lane, driving on the like perpendicular to the or parallel to the baseline, and like kind of gets hit and flies. And he is seriously looking like Superman as he's falling sideways and just flings the ball up off the glass and it goes in. Like, dude's super talented. Sometimes the ball just finds the bottom of the net. Doesn't matter how good the defense is. Tumani Kamara has had a lot of good shots hit over him this year. He's also done a very good job preventing more of them from going in as well. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go onto youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. One of our texters says, I see the depth of this team. Now you take out Scoot and you put in Caleb. Comes out, then you put in Blake, and then he runs it down. He just forces it down your throat, like he says. It's awesome. The depth is there. Like, to your point, and this is why getting Scoot back has been so crucial. I argued that him being out kind of proved how valuable he is because he just needs someone to handle the ball. And through 2 games, he has looked incredible doing so. And then you get Blake, who's added on the defensive end and been, good on the offensive end as well. Those things matter. Having that depth, when you can afford to put Caleb Love on the DMP list, that's not a bad thing for Caleb Love. It's just an understanding that you're healthy and your roster is where it needs to be, and that is a good thing all around. Once again, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to follow me on social media, Chris J. Burkhardt is the name. You can send me your questions, your comments all night long, pre, post game. Heck, you can send them to him when you wake up. I'll have something to read when I wake up too. Plenty more Blazer talk, though, coming up. We're going to take a quick break. Plenty more coming up when we come back here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you once again. If you want to join the conversation into Blazers Game Day, Chris Burkhardt here with you once again. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. The text line is 88528. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. And one of our texters, it's got to be friend of the show, Bobby, a.k.a. Timmy in the chat. He's going to text you on YouTube and send you a text in the text line to make sure you see what he's talking about. But he does say, let's acknowledge our ODC. For those of you not in the know, that is our Donovan Clingan, just like our tribal chief, the one and only Donovan Clingan. 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. First player to do so in his first 2 seasons as a Blazer since Arvydas Sabonis. Pretty nice company to be in as a young big man. So phenomenal performances from DC, who's really been putting it together. He's having a much better year this year than he did last year. And of course, last year it was the growing pains, the cardio, and the working his way up, battling with DeAndre Ayton. Does he have the cardio in him? How good can he be? He's been great. And I do want to acknowledge our one, the only Donovan Clingan. Hear what he had to say following that game too, because it's not just the game that is awesome. It's the fact that the Blazers are going to be all over All-Star Weekend this weekend. You're going to get to see Young Hansen and the Rising Stars. You're going to get to see Damian Lillard in the three-point contest. No one expected that to happen. You're going to get to see Denny Avdia in the actual All-Star game, the first of what is hopefully many of his career. And then, of course, you get to see Donovan Clingan in that Rising Star game as well. He talked about it after the game.
So I'm excited to go out there.
Will you stay the whole time, or are you just going for your thing and then you're out?
Going for my thing and I'm out.
It's like you're a vet.
Nah, just need a little break. I'll be watching Denny on TV though, for sure.
Have you talked to anybody about the experience of playing in the game and what to expect, or?
Not really. Go out there, play hard, and try to win.
Maybe your first charge?
Yeah, maybe I'll take my first charge. Maybe I will set it up.
How much easier is it for you guys to play off each other and move the ball around when Denny's on the floor?
A lot easier. He draws a lot of attention. He moves the ball. He's passing. He's getting downhill and finding open guys. It's a lot of fun. And as guys start trickling back and getting healthy, it's just gonna be a lot more fun out there.
So how did it feel to get kind of good night shooting the 3-ball again?
Yeah, it felt good. It's always feels good to see a couple 3 balls go in, especially early. Get your energy up. It felt great.
Did that rub off on Rob?
Yeah, Rob. Really, me and Rob every day get our vitamins in the morning. We start off the day by shooting threes, and we battle for Chipotle every day. Who pays for the next Chipotle? So it's.
How does that work? Are you guys do like a 3-point shootout or like a one-on-one?
We just have a little 3-point shootout. First to 4 makes at every spot. It's fun.
Who's bought the most?
We say he's. I've won a couple times. He's won a couple times, but I always end up buying my own.
Speaking of threes, what was it like to see Toumani shoot the ball like that?
Man, Toumani puts a lot of work in. He's in the gym hours every day, even after playing 40 minutes, picking up their best player, full court the whole game. He's still in the gym getting shots up. So, just to see him have a big night like that, I don't know if it was the headband, the new braids. He had a big night.
We finally might get to see you and Hansen go against each other, though. So have you guys talked about that?
Yeah, we're excited. Me versus Han in All-Star Weekend, right, Han? Yes. I'm excited.
And there you hear from Donovan Clingan, and it is just kind of funny because the reason I played that audio was because of a comment about, the ODC, which is a reference to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and WWE. So when he goes in there and he makes a reference about waking up and eating his vitamins, now I wonder if he's like, is he a real American? Was he a Hulkamaniac? Wake up, eat your vitamins, and say your prayers. All that jazz. But regardless of the jokes and the puns we can make, just great to see Donovan Clingan playing so well. And he's had the ups and downs this season. Don't get me wrong. I've talked about him on this show, and I picked him apart for the holes in his games that I wish he would fix. I still want him to go up and play like a big man. Too many times he gets the rebound and kind of looks for an outlet pass and gets stuck in no man's land. Too many times does he get a pass when he is down low and just kind of hesitates. And do I want to go straight up? What do I want to do here? Like, he had a shot in that game where it's just like he gets a wide open run in the lane and it turns into being this little shot put, kind of gets the front of the rim and bounces back. So some indecisiveness there. And then defensively, where he comes up a little bit short is just the fact that his size and the way he plays makes you want to put him down low in the paint. And it makes it hard to get out and defend the three-point arc. That's something he needs to work on throughout his career and just get a little faster, a little quicker. You got to run the balance. Like, you don't want him to lose too much size just to get quicker, because that size is something he uses to his benefit. But when he is on the floor and they're taking advantage of his inability to get out to the three-point arc, defenses start to take advantage and they start getting on runs. You saw it with Jared Allen. You saw it with Phoenix. You saw it with Memphis taking advantage of it. Bounce back, had a good game in this one against Philadelphia when they needed him to have a big game. So you got to give him credit for that. 15 points, 7 rebounds, and a couple block shots, 4 of them to be exact, in just 27 minutes. So he didn't go out there and get you 19 rebounds like he did against Memphis. But you also had Andre Drummond out there for Philly, which does change it up just a little bit. Now, your Blazers, with this little 3-game streak, following what was a 6-game losing streak, they're starting to right this ship just a little bit. And with all the other teams around them arguably getting worse at the deadline, Dallas got worse, Memphis got worse, Utah, I think, got better, but it's clear that they're in tank mode because they're not playing their starters in the fourth quarter right now, which is a big to-do and a fiasco on social media. Those guys got worse. They're all on the outside looking in. LA got worse. They've lost 1 in a row. They're in 10th. Blazers have a half-game lead on them. Portland is in 9th now. 3 games behind Golden State, a Golden State team that, yes, they went and traded for Kristaps Porzingis, but not having Jimmy Butler and the ups and downs that they've had. Very realistically, Portland could catch up to them, especially with how much easier Portland's schedule is down the way. Those are things to watch. I'd be watching the Clippers every night. I'd be watching Golden State every night to see how they do. Portland has a game tonight against a Minnesota team that could be without Anthony Edwards. Sean Hyken just texted me that he is a game-time decision, so he's waiting to hear what the final updates are from Minnesota. But a couple of those teams to watch tonight is you got Golden State taking on San Antonio tonight. Victor Wembanyama, who against the Lakers last night had like 25 points in the first 8 minutes of the game. It was absolute insanity what he was doing. Do the Warriors win that game? Can they stay with San Antonio, or they take the L and then Portland can take advantage, get another dub, and get one step closer to the dubs? Those are the type of things to watch. The Thunder taking on the Phoenix Suns tonight. Why does that matter? Because Phoenix is currently 7th in the standings. They are 6 games ahead of Portland. A lot harder for Portland to catch. But you go on a streak of losing while Portland goes on a streak of winning, anything can happen. I still think realistically Portland is either the 8th or 9th team when the dust settles. And if I had to bet, I think they get up to 8. I think the way this schedule plays out, a lot easier for the Blazers. I think I went through the rest of the way. I think over their last 25 games or whatever it is post All-Star break, I have them at around like 19 wins. You couple that with some Golden State losses, I think they catch up and they get to 8. So those are what you want to watch. You want to watch what Phoenix does. You want to watch what Golden State does. You also want to watch, you got the Rockets and the Clippers. You want the Clippers to take a couple more losses, create some ground. These are the things to be on the lookout for. Sacramento taking on Utah. Who tanks harder? The Utah Jazz, who are in full tank mode, or the Kings, who are the worst team in the Western Conference right now? Memphis versus Denver tonight as well. Another one to watch. Portland grabbed 2 victories against them, which are going to loom large at the end. And now Portland has a 5-game lead on Memphis. If you can increase the lead against those guys, things really start to look good for Portland as you enter post-All-Star basketball. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also head to youtube.com and type in Rip City Radio. And, of course, hit me up on social, Chris J. Burkhart. Shacker's telling me the break. He knew where I was going. I'm aiming for these short end segments. It's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes. Keys to the Game coming up next on your home of the Blazers, River City Radio, 620. Game Day, Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do? Blazers Game Day, Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over these Minnesota Timberwolves? Well, the keys to the game could change. Everything is very fluid here, as Anthony Edwards is a game-time decision. That drastically alters how you will play this Minnesota team. Anthony Edwards is phenomenal. He's one of the best scorers in the game. Pay attention. You all remember early in the season, they come to town. He hits a game winner over Toumani Camara. We told you, sometimes Toumani makes them. Sometimes he watches the other guy make them over him. Sometimes the defense does all it can, and a good shot falls. And Anthony Edwards has hit some good shots on Portland. Now, if he doesn't play, that's big. Portland can try to take advantage, get a victory. They still have 2 more games coming up against this Minnesota team. But you look back at that game early in the season, and when I say early in the season, I mean early. It was the season opener. It was October 22nd. Minnesota won 118 to 114. And while both teams obviously change throughout the year, you still can get an idea of how things played out when they did match up. Portland, they did not get a great game from Donovan Clingan. It was an 6 rebound, 8-point performance. They can get that back tonight. You also had Chris Murray and Matisse Thybulle playing large chunks in that game, and you didn't have Scoot Henderson, who you have back tonight. You also had Deni Avdija, who was starting the season, was not in the form that he is now. Those things definitely factor in to these type of games. In that game overall, though, second chance points was just 16-10 in favor of Minnesota. Turnovers, Minnesota had more of them, 19 versus 6. The bench was strong for Portland, but one thing that did stand out was fast break points for Minnesota. They had 22 to just 11 of Portland. And keep in mind, this was just a 4-point game. So if you're the Blazers, if Anthony Edwards is in there, even more so, but regardless, because they're still going to want to play the same way, you have to find ways to make sure you lock them up a little bit and not let them get those fast breaks and play the tempo that they want to play. You dictate the pace. Make sure they don't get out in space, beat you on the back end. Your defense has to be locked in. If Anthony Edwards does play in this game, he had 41 points in that game. He was 14 of 28 from the field, 5 of 10, and 8 of 8 from the line. You got to lock him up, but you got to make sure that everyone else is locked up too. Jaden McDaniels had 18. Julius Randle had 19. Rudy Gobert can go do his thing and clean the glass. So you got to be prepared. But with or without Anthony Edwards, it's going to change how you game plan. So also what you do is you need to focus on you. And what I mean there is don't care. Anthony Edwards is playing, Gobert's playing. I don't care. I'm going to do me. I'm going to push my tempo. I'm going to get the ball in Deni Avdija's hands, run it right down the key, get those foul shots or kick it out to shooters. And then I'm going to have Scoot Henderson come in rotation. And what I love about him right now is he plays the same way as Deni in that aspect where he wants to drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. If you have 2 guys who are just constantly driving and kicking and you never give Minnesota's defense a chance to rest, you might get to the point where it's chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away, and then the defense finally breaks. So if you're Portland, really make a point to set the tone and make the tone yours for the entire game. Don't let Minnesota get into a groove and then Edwards. They are well enough coached and talented enough to still go out there and they are well enough coached and talented enough to still go out there and get wins. Again, whether you have Anthony Edwards or not does change a little bit how you attack this team, which is why I would say focus on you. Don't worry about who's dressed up in a Minnesota uniform. Just attack it and play it and be ready for him to score. No, Anthony Edwards will impact that, but this team does average 120 points per game, just under top 5 in the NBA. Music means it's time to go. Don't go anywhere, though, because coming up next, we got Chad Doing on the Trailblazers Audio Network with the Trailblazers pregame show. And, of course, he'll hand the mic off to Travis Demers right after that for Blazers versus Timberwolves here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. And after the game, it's the 5th quarter where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.